Alrighty, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the February episode of the Ranger Roundup. I'm your host, David Wilson, the Assistant AD for Communications here at Regis. Before we get started, I want to extend a thank you, as usual, to Regis ITS and Walker's Pub for their assistance in putting on this broadcast every month. Tonight we'll be talking some Regis hoops, both the men and women, as teams as they get ready into this head into this final weekend of RMAC regular season play. Joining us first this evening is head men's basketball coach Brady Bergeson and redshirt junior guard Eddy Egun. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here,
Appreciate
David.
it.
Coach, we're just going to dive right into it. The team has already safely secured a spot in next week's RMAC tournament. Can't be any worse than the 7th seed can jump up to the 4th. What's the message to the guys in this final weekend of the regular season?
Well, we're certainly looking forward to the playoffs. It's always the best time of year. We're not really talking about that or thinking about it much. We're certainly not talking about it within the locker room. We got an unfinished business here this weekend to take care of, and we want to, our messaging to the guys has been consistent all year long, and that is that we're trying to play our best basketball in February, moving into March, give ourselves every opportunity we can to make a special run. I think we've positioned ourselves to potentially do that, and we're just trying to legitimately just maximize everything we've got with the time that we've got remaining.
Does it take any pressure off knowing that we don't need to win one, win two to get in? Does that take any pressure off, or is it just now intrinsic motivation to be better by the end of this weekend?
I suppose there would probably be an underpinning of more stress if we hadn't clinched a spot yet, and those things were on the line. But nonetheless, I don't think that our approach is going to change at all. I think that we approach each game pretty the same way, and I know that's coach speak, but we at least that we attempt to do that, and to do anything less than that is to disrespect your opponent and the process. That's more important than any of the rest of it. So we've got two good opponents coming in, both also scrapping for playoff time positioning as well. So they've got a lot to play for, and we want to feel good going into next week about where we're at and what we're putting on the floor.
Eddy, what's this time of year like for a player in that locker room as you guys get into the waning games of the regular season and eyes towards the postseason?
Coach always says this, throughout the year, during January, February, March, you want to be playing our best basketball, and I feel like we're kind of reaching that goal right now. Guys are, playing their role to the best of their ability. Everybody's, locked in, and we all have a big goal at the end of the. We all have a similar goal, which is to go far in the playoffs, and I feel like everybody's locked in right now, and I feel like everybody just we're all just locked in, we're all together, and I feel like we all have the same mindset, and we can make a special push in this playoff run.
Is this the best time of year though? February turn into March?
For sure. Everybody's playing their best basketball. It's just highly competitive. It's for sure the best year. For sure. First time.
Coach, Eddy's been a big part of the equation the last 2 years. Been here 3, but spent that first year a little banged up. What has he brought to this group since he's gotten healthy before the beginning of last year, and now his second year healthy in 2023-24?
Yeah, we talked at the end of this time last year, and he was just all smiles. It had been the first time really in his playing career that he had gone through an entire season and made a real impact on the team that he was on, and it was a really special year for him last year. And what we're seeing from him is just really continued growth. I think that he's accelerated his sort of trajectory just over the last 2 months. If you kind of looked at where he was when he came in, he had the red shirt injury and got back, but it took months. Had a good year for us last year. Certainly was instrumental in our team last year. But he has got his foot on the accelerator in terms of his improvement individually. And he's been one of the guys that's really sort of put the momentum behind us over the last, since Christmas break. With his play and his level of play, he's elevated it. He's elevated his leadership. He's elevated on both sides of the ball. And I think that our guys have really fed off of that. I think, he's a big part of our team and our locker room and the connection between the guys. And so I would say, if I would speak for my team, I think he's made a huge impact on both sides of the ball, but also in the locker room. And he's just continuing to get better. And we're really lucky he's got another season left. I can't believe he's got another season left.
Me either.
But, he's not going to stop getting better. And that's the point. That's the exciting part.
Well, Eddy, I'm going to put you on the spot real quick. Give me the Eddie Egun scouting report. How do you view yourself a player? How do you want other teams to view you when they see Eddie Egun on the scouting report?
On the scouting report, I would say that they probably said that like I'm a scorer, drive first, shoot second. Just try to stop his drive. He's good at getting to the rim. He'll shoot the three. You got to get a hand up. You don't want to make sure he's it's not rhythm because if you shoot a rhythm three, it's chicken. But you just gotta you just gotta I don't know. I'd say like just stop me from my drive really because I feel like that's the best part of my game offensively. So yeah.
What about you, Coach? Looking at the numbers on Eddie, already up to career-high 29 steals this year defensively, offensively averaging a career-high 12.5 a game at 56.5% shooting. What is the scouting report on Eddie Egun?
Yeah, and you look at the numbers in the last 2 months, and it's just elevating. So, he's spot on. I think teams have a problem when they look at matching up to us because who do you put your better defender on? And I think he's a matchup problem because of what he can do. We've got other guys that are also a matchup problem. So I think a lot of teams do have some issues matching up to us, and Eddy's really taking advantage of that. But our X factor, Eddy didn't talk about, which was the defensive side of the ball. I'm kind of disappointed you didn't talk about that.
My bad.
Eddy's an aggressive player. He's just a very aggressive player. He plays with an intensity and a ferocity that is really fun to watch, but he does that on both sides of the ball. So, there's my scouting report. I want the other coaches just to fall asleep on him and assume he can't play. But I don't think that's going to happen.
All right. Well, another thing that you touched on a little bit, Coach, was his leadership. Eddy, for you're one of the few veterans on this 2023-24 team. How has your role changed this year versus maybe when you first arrived at Regis before 21-22?
So when I first got to Regis, we had a really like good squad. We had guys like Brian Dawson, Aaron Bokel, Will Cranston. Some tough guys that played in the RMAC, some tough leaders. And when I came in, I didn't really have a leadership role. I just came in, just impact the team as much as I could, defensively and offensively. Just to have a solid role on the team. I wasn't really a leader, but the year after that and the year now, I feel like. Those guys helped me and gave me the keys, and since I've been there, I've seen how to carry them, how they carry themselves, because when I first got here, we were on a 14-game win streak, and I was in the locker room, and I seen the guys and how they carry themselves and through the ups and downs. So I kind of learned from them. And coming to this year, I knew I would have to step my game up for sure. I know I'd have to be a leader because, like you said, I'm one of the only vet. I'm pretty much the only vet on the team right now that's been here. So. I feel like I just feel like I just have to, like being one of the older guys, just carry myself in a different way. Guys look up to me in the locker room. They look up to me on and off the court. So I just feel like I have to carry myself in a way that, that shows good character. And, just pretty much that's it.
Well, Coach, I know when you and I convened for the first time in November to do the season preview story, you said that this season was going to be a work in progress with how young the group was. A lot of freshmen finding their footing, sophomores being elevated in their roles. What area do you think the team's biggest growth has been over these last 3 months?
Well, I think we've really started to figure out our identity offensively. I think this team brought an identity defensively that was pretty easy to cling to, and they're scrappy, hard-nosed. They really want to compete. They really want to win balls, and defensively, I think that was easier to find early on. I think offensively it took us just a little bit longer. I think that guys have really started to take to kind of our style of play and really lean into playing off of each other. We don't have a single initiator of the offense. We sort of do it by committee, and I think guys really enjoy playing off of each other and in an unselfish brand. And I think that that style sort of taken a life of its own. I think our guys are seeing an identity in themselves with the way we're playing there. We've got some, when you've got such a young group, your ceiling is sky high, and we have that. There's no doubt about it. We're going to get everything we possibly can out of this group while we have the time to do it this year. But, moving forward, and I know you're not asking about future years, but this is a special group, special unit with not just the talent that they have, the youth, but also just the mindset, the makeup that they come with, the competitive drive that, we stick together. We could have some really special years with this group.
And it kind of touches on it, whether it's, future years or even just, the next 4 or 5, 6 weeks, however long we get to keep on playing, is what are some of the things that, now that you said that this team already came in with a great defensive identity, have really now learned themselves offensively, what are some areas and things that you think this group is still learning and refining on right now? What are stuff that you guys are touching on in practice of, let's clean up this little area, let's be a little bit better in this today?
We're definitely tightening the bolts up on both sides of the ball. We know who we are. We know what we do best. We're really trying to lean into that. I would say the biggest point of inconsistency for us has been the rebounding part of the ball. We're a smaller team. We're a little light. So those things don't necessarily just come as an automatic advantage. We've got to work a little harder for it and do it by committee, do it by numbers. And I think that's helped us in some games. We've won some games because we've done a great job there. We've also dropped some games where we didn't do a good enough job in that area. I think that's a big X factor for us as we move forward for the rest of this year.
And we've now talked about how young this team is, but we do have a senior on the team, Tyreek Iza, Armac's leading shot blocker entering play this weekend. Tyreek will be honored before the game Saturday for Senior Day. Just a question to both of you. What has Tyreek brought this group, maybe on the court, in the locker room, just from your perspective, what has Tyreek brought this 2023-24 team?
Tyreek's my guy, man. He's funny. He's a funny guy off the court, man. Everybody loves him. On the court, he just brings that defensive presence that we need. Like Coach said, we're a smaller team, but when he's on the court, we feel like a little bit bigger. So he brings a lot of he helps us a lot defensively. Offensively, he can go too. So he's a good guy for sure, and we all mess with him.
Yeah, it's you don't automatically just assume. We added him to the roster pretty late. He's been to a couple different schools. We weren't entirely sure what that was going to come with for Trig, and I cannot tell you just how happy and proud we are that we've had him for a year. He has not only really helped us on the court, brought an interior presence, both sides of the ball. He's a rim protector. You talked about the shot blocking. He's a versatile player, can guard multiple positions, can play multiple positions offensively. So he does a lot for us systematically, but bigger than that, and Eddy's talking about kind of the locker room dynamics. He's fit right in, just been a brother from day one. And beyond that, from a coach's perspective, you don't automatically assume you're going to get a one-year guy who's going to come in and really buy into a role. What do you need, Coach? What do we need? Be very, very coachable. Fit right in from the start and not give, friction or. I mean, we haven't had, we've coached him and there's been, better days and worse days, but his attitude is phenomenal. He's fit right in. I can't speak about him enough. I mean, he's been such a great quality addition to this group. I wish we had him for more than 1 year. But we'll take whatever we can get, and we're just really proud of him.
Well, thanks, guys. Last question for you before we get into our rapid-fire round. Once we do know the RMAC tournament bracket when that comes out Saturday and all the dust settles, what do you think this team is capable of doing in the month of March?
I definitely see us competing for sure. I feel like we can compete with any team in the league. I feel like we have the pieces, the guys, we have the attitude, the mindset. I feel like we have everything we needed to compete. So going into this RMAC tournament, we're just going in with high expectations, high hopes, and we're just going to play, the best basketball we can and just move as one, really.
I'll just say this. The way the league shaked out this year, heading into the last weekend, there's really been sort of 3 somewhat dominant teams up top, and then there's kind of been, 4 through 12 or 13 or something like that. That's not a whole lot is separating. We're obviously in that mix. Now, over the last 2 months, I think we've been playing as well as just about anybody. And I will say this: I don't know if we're if we're going to be able to call ourselves the best team in the league by the year's end, but I do think we're going to be able to look ourselves in the mirror and say, I don't know if anybody's getting better than we are, faster than we are right now. And I look at the top 3 teams, those teams that have really dominated our league. And I don't want to disrespect anybody. It's not a disrespect, but I'm not convinced those teams are getting better, certainly not at the pace that we are. And so, hey, all I'm saying is, you give us a chance and we continue to really improve on what we're doing and refine what we're doing. I'm going to give us a shot at anything, and I don't think anything's impossible for this group.
This is a position we're comfortable with and know well, right? We went to the RMAC tournament championship game 2 years ago as a 6th seed. So.
That's right. Eddy was in a cast on the bench on that right there. And
I feel like if I would have played that game, we would have won the championship, but it's all good.
That difference maker to knock off Joel Scott and Black Hills.
For sure.
All right, well, gentlemen, so before I let you go, do have a quick round of rapid fire for you. We just celebrated Division II Day nationwide last week. To you, what are some of the benefits of, and maybe best attributes of playing at the Division II level for Eddy and coaching at the Division II level for you, Coach?
I chose to go to Division II because I wanted a chance to, further, pursue my education, but I also wanted to go to a place where I could, play basketball at the highest level and I was valued. And, when I was going through my transfer process, Regis was, they really saw the value in me. They saw me as a valuable player. They had high expectations of me, and they took me in like family. So I'm just glad I came here, and I'm glad that I went D2 because I felt like it gave me the best opportunity to showcase, who I am as a basketball player, and it gave me the chance to, pursue my education. So, yeah.
What about for you, Coach? You've seen the Division I level. You've seen the Division II. What are some of the perks and advantages of being at the Division II level?
Yeah, I mean, for me, the answer is really easy. To generalize, the Division I level is painted with transactional relationships, and exclusively, of course, not. Are the programs doing it the right way? In my opinion, yes, of course, are. But they're difficult to find, and the pressures at that level that exist, the realities at that level that are just, for coaches, for players, are different. And it forces people oftentimes into a transactional mindset, and we don't have to suffer those same consequences. We're very much, a family, a mom and pop shop here. We're about transformational relationships. And our guys come here for that. They come here because they believe that their coaches are going to be immersed in them and their lives and their development on and off the court, and we're able to provide that for them. And I'm not saying you can't do that at the Division I level, because I think you can, but it is a natural fit here, and we're really proud of what we built.
And if we needed any illustration about the talent level, Mountain West has been one of the best basketball conferences in the country this year, and there's 2 former RMAC players leading the way in that conference, in Aquel Cott and Joel Scott, right, Coach?
You got that right. It's not. It's a thin line.
All right, so we hope to be adding some more moments to this list, but if you had to look back at this season right now, what's your favorite moment to date from 2023, 2024?
My favorite moment?
Maybe beating Black Hills on our home court, just something that stands out as a good moment so far from this regular season.
I'd probably say beating Black Hills at home, just because they've always had our numbers the last couple of years, and I felt like we played one of our best games that game, and everybody was just locked in. The energy was good, it was high, and I feel like it was just a at least a personal game for me, because I haven't really beat them, so beating them it just felt good to finally get back against them. So that was probably my favorite moment. For sure.
What about for you, Coach?
Good question. I think it hasn't happened yet, but I'll take about a month ago when we played these same 2 teams that are coming up. We played them on the road. We were at Pueblo at New Mexico Islands. Big road weekend for us. And I thought it was a special weekend because we hadn't swept a road weekend. It had been a while. and that was a big one for us. The guys really rallied. We were shorthanded, if I remember right. We had an injury of one of our key rotational guys, and we found a way and went on the road and scrapped both of those out on the road, and now we got those same two teams to finish things off here this weekend.
I think we were 2-5 on the road that season. We finished up 6-6 during the regular season, so we won 4 of our last 5 road games.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
Alrighty. So Coach is going to have a little more extensive knowledge on this, but when you think about the March Madness tournament, D1, D2, men's, women's, what is the moment, your favorite moment, maybe the Cinderella team, anything from March Madness that sticks out?
Good one.
My favorite moment from March Madness, it's probably it's probably the Cinderella stories, really, and probably the game winners, really, just like all the things that could happen. Like anything could happen in March. Like literally, March is the best time for basketball. Anything can happen. It's just, I don't know, like I just like how unexpected it is, like how anybody can win. It's just highly competitive. You can't take any team for granted. So it's just highly competitive basketball, like throughout the whole month of March. So that's what I like about it the most. It's just highly competitive.
The first 2 days of the tournament, basketball from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Like, does it get better than the first 2 days of March Madness?
Doesn't get much better than 18 straight hours of basketball. I got a lot of them. I remember being on my buddy's couch watching Christian Laettner hit that dagger against Kentucky back in, when was that, 89, 90? When was that?
I think
91?
90.
That famous shot. I remember where I was when that shot went down. I'm not a big Duke fan, but that was an incredible play. I remember a lot of them. I remember Valpo's buzzer beater, full court heave. Bryce Drew. Mm-hmm. And one of my favorites was last year when the 16 seed beat Purdue. That coach was the year before was a Division II coach. Took over that program in 1 year. Farley Dickinson, I believe it was. And, took some of his guys with them. And, I mean, they played number 1 team in the country at that time in Purdue and put together just an incredible game plan and executed. That was an incredible game. So I've got a lot of them.
Absolutely. My favorite, I doubt either of you know, Coach, you might, but when Northern Colorado made the NCAA tournament for the first time, played against San Diego State and Kawhi Leonard. Game plan was let Kawhi Leonard shoot threes, and he obliged and did just fine. But that was my moment, being able to be there when Northern Colorado made the tournament. I think this is another good one. This was popular last month. If you could go back in time and tell your freshman self a piece of advice, what would it be?
If I can go back and tell my freshman self a piece of advice, I'd tell myself to stay in the training room and just to actually stay and do my workouts and stay healthy. Just stay healthy, because just do everything I can to stay healthy, because I'm going back and dealing with my knee injury. It wasn't a good time. I was kind of depressed. I was really thinking about basketball and how I'm going to recover. I'm not going to be the same player again. So I would just tell myself to take my health serious. Take my health serious. Really stretch and just take care of my body, because I'm not trying to go. I wouldn't want to go through that again. So that's what I tell myself. What
about you, Coach? Invest in Apple, right?
Yeah. My freshman year? Yeah. It's funny because when you're a freshman, you carry in what you know from high school into college, and you assume that what the things that you did in high school are going to work for you in college and produce the same level of success, and that's not always the case. So I think freshman, it's really an important adaptive year. What I would tell myself as a freshman is along those lines is that you're never going to regret putting in extra hours. You may regret the TV time, the screen time, you're given choices on any given day as to what you want to spend your free time doing. And don't get me wrong, I was a hard worker, a lot like these guys, but I think there was always more to give. And as you look back on it, you go, geez, I wonder if this, I wonder if that. What if I had done this? What if I had worked harder there? And you want to get to the end and be exhausted. And I think advice to freshmen would be something along those lines.
I wish I wouldn't have taken a golf class senior year. Didn't fix my game at all. I wish I'd have replaced that with finance or something like that. Learn the stock market a little bit. We're still a few months away from this, but what is a summer activity, vacation, something you're looking forward to as it's starting to finally feel like spring around here in Denver?
I'll probably just say, one summer activity that I'm actually excited for is my birthday, and my birthday is actually over the summer, so I can't wait for that. But in terms of just summer activities, just just going out,
Working camps, Ed?
working camps, I guess, making a little extra money on the side, just going swimming, hanging out with friends, hanging out with family. That's probably the most exciting thing I'm excited for. So, yeah. Just
My wife turns 40 this year. I'm going to take her to Italy. We got a big plan trip out there. It's going to be pretty epic. We're looking forward to that.
No devices, turn the email off, no answering emails from Coach Bergeson that week?
You will not be hearing from me, David.
Well, fair enough. And then my last one for you guys. Finish this sentence for me. The Regis University men's basketball program is?
gritty.
All right, we got gritty. What about you, Coach?
Relentless, unselfish, move as one.
See, and I got you guys as building towards something special. That's how I'd finish that sentence.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, gentlemen, I want to thank you for coming on to the show this month. Wish you the best of luck this weekend. And, when we get to postseason play next week, when we come back on the Ranger Roundup, we'll be talking some women's hoops with head coach Molly Marrin and senior guard Erin Fry. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Welcome back to the Ranger Roundup. Joining us now is head women's basketball coach Molly Marrin and senior guard Erin Fry. Ladies, welcome.
Thank you. Hi.
Coach, what a wild final weekend we have in store for RMAC women's basketball. Got a 4-team tie atop the RMAC standings, chance to win the RMAC regular season outright, be a co-champion, anything in between. What's it like from your chair when you look at all the possibilities this weekend?
I was not aware of the 4-way tie, actually, so this is news to me. I'm just kidding. We know it's a kind of a crazy year in the RMAC. I've said many years how talented our league is top to bottom, and I think it's showing itself here especially in the last few weeks. So, we're up for an adventure. We're ready, and we're going to do the best that we can on our home court and take care of the things that we can control.
We got New Mexico Highlands and CSU Pueblo this weekend. Pueblo fighting for their playoff lines to just make the tournament on Saturday. What do you anticipate with these matchups this weekend?
It's going to be Highlands is going to play a little bit more zone than we face, so it's kind of a little bit of a mix, whereas Pueblo is going to play more man and be a little bit more aggressive on that. So a little bit of different styles, but both teams play really hard. And, Egun for New Mexico Highlands, very talented lefty point guard, being able to contain her. And they've got, just some really great athleticism across the board, 1 through 5. And so does Pueblo as well. They're super athletic. Obviously, Alicia Davis is a handful inside and just very talented player. And it'll be an athletic matchups for both. So we've been preparing for it this week.
What about for you, Erin, as a player, seeing this team a second time, seeing it, a couple of teams that you know well after, they played us tight last year too. What do you anticipate with this weekend?
I just anticipate a aggressive weekend, just gritty, both teams going at it. Oh, sorry. Both teams going at it. So it's just, we're all ready. We're all prepared. Looking forward to this weekend.
Well, Coach, when you and I chatted back in November, we talked about how maybe this year might be different being the hunted instead of the hunter after winning the RMAC regular season and tournament title last year. How would you two compare and contrast these two seasons and their respective playoff runs versus what we were trying to go and catch for the first time since 2007 last year versus what we're trying to hold on to and redo again this year?
I think you addressed that early. We certainly, I think, felt that early, and so I think in a few games maybe played a little bit more tense than normal. And I actually think getting beat in the preseason helped us. It kind of just dropped our guard a little bit, and we're like, okay, we can just shake that a little bit. So maybe we're not going to be the as hunted. We'll just be one of the hunted. So yeah, it's definitely been different. I think as we've grown as a group this season, we know that there's still the target on our back, but we've learned to handle it. I think just a little bit calmer and just understand that it's part of it and that it's a privilege to have that target on your back and that we earn that privilege. And so I think us embracing that has really made us play well, especially in the last month.
For you, Erin, from a player perspective, how is, last year chasing that goal, chasing school history versus now, we still want to win. We still want to be RMAC championships again this year. Just how have you been able to stay locked in and focused and not be complacent this year as we try and repeat?
I think for us, especially talking as a team, it was more so instead of us chasing after the team ahead of us or the teams that were ahead of us, it's more of we got to where we wanted to last year. Now we're chasing like that championship or our next goal for ourselves. So instead of like focusing on like the outside or the other team, just more so like what can we do or what do we want to do, what do we want to achieve for ourselves. So yeah.
Well, Coach, earlier this month, Erin became just the 21st player in program history to eclipse 1,000 career points. Erin, what did that milestone mean to you before I, kind of get Coach's perspective on it?
It's funny to think about because in the game or after the game, I didn't really remember which play it was that I scored the 1,000 point on. But what I do remember is celebrating it with my teammates afterwards. And I feel like it's just those moments and those memories are something that I'll cherish more than what happens in the game. So just being able to celebrate with my teammates and them being happy for me and we just achieving that milestone together, them helping me get to that point is what I will remember most about that night or that milestone.
And then, Coach, for you, you've played with or coached some of the best players in program history. What did Fry's accomplishment mean to you, and where does she kind of rank when you think about some of the Rangers' best that have gone through this program?
Well, it's hard to compare, right? You don't want to necessarily compare, but I will say if you get into that 1,000-point mark, that's about 10 points a year you're averaging, right? And so that's hard to do, and it means that she has had to consistently score, throughout 4 years and some of those things. So that milestone for her, a lot of the players that I've seen get into that position, including myself, I've really been score first, and she's not. And so for her to get this accomplishment, I think I'm not going to say means even more, but it's more impressive to me because she's led the league or been 1 or 2 in the league in assists. So she's giving to her teammates first and scoring second. So I just think it's equally more impressive for me for her to be in this club, and she's going to continue to get more. So
I swear you either co-write my scripts or know them ahead of time, Coach, because guess what I am talking about next? As talented of a scorer as Erin is, the number that jumps out to me this year is she's averaging a career-high 5.3 assists. With Josie and Athena both having career years scoring the basketball, was it more of a concerted effort on Erin's part? Was it more of a concerted effort offensively for her to be more of a distributor this year, or is that just how it kind of played out?
You go.
I would say I just think that's how it played out, especially with Josie and Athena having their injuries. Now they're more into the role of scoring. They're comfortable. They're in their groove. So that just makes me just more comfortable to pass it off to them, knowing that whatever I give to them, it's going to go in the basket. So.
And she's willing to do whatever it takes for the team to win, and I think she recognized that she doesn't have to score. She's going to do whatever it takes to win, and Josie can surely score the ball, and Athena can surely score the ball. So she's found some good people to pass it to that are close on that. So
what kind of luxury is that, having the reigning RMAC Player of the Year as the third scoring option right now?
I love it.
Looking ahead towards this weekend and next week's RMAC tournament, touch on this a little bit, but what are some experiences that last year's run, maybe taught, or something that you guys can draw off of when we're playing in important games the rest of this month? Are you able to draw off of an experience of being we've been here before, we've been able to do this before, we held our composure before? Just what did last year do for you as we get ready to play those hard games this year?
I think for me, it's more so just focusing on one game at a time and not thinking about what could happen next week or 2 weeks from now or where we want to be. I feel like last year taught us make it past the first round. So we're just thinking one game at a time this year and just focusing on the next day, whether that's practice or in the game.
And then for you, Coach, just is there some other stuff that you can draw from or bring from last year's experience of, hey, we've been here before, ladies. We know how to close out a fourth game in an elimination, a fourth quarter in an elimination game.
I think it's continuing to stay in the present. As Fry and I have talked about a lot. And just focusing on the things we can control in the moment. We scout everybody the same way. Nothing changes in those things. Our standards don't drop; they only rise in February. And so I've said to the girls many times, like, the goal's harder to finish the drill. It's February basketball, and so we just raise some of those standards there, so that way some of our normal goals that would be in the game, we can achieve them easier because we've practiced them harder. So they just have a mindset of things are just going to be a little bit harder and a little bit tougher, and we practice that just with some of those side goals. And so I think that helps us close it out. And again, we have a super mature team. I mean, a lot of them treat themselves like pros. I'm talking to one that's getting IV light, like sauna therapy at her own gym, and another one's in yoga at 7:45 in the morning, and another one, two of them. I mean, like, just stuff I was not doing in college, I'll tell you that. So they treat their bodies like pros. They want it. They're mature. They're tough. And so I think that bodes well for us going into these tough games.
And aside from the playoff implications, Saturday will also mark Senior Day. The team is recognizing Olivia Petrov, Madison Dirks, and Erin pregame. Coach, if you could tell us a little bit about the senior class and the impact they've had during this building process.
Oh, they've been great. Just a very tight class. They're very tight. You don't really see one without the other. And so, Olivia's hilarious. I mean, she's just has great sense of humor, always comes in. She's never been late, super disciplined, but then, has a 3.98 something, who knows, extremely bright in the honors program, and just does everything right. And then she has a silly side that really lightens our group, which I love. So have just really enjoyed coaching her and continue to be excited for her about what she's going on to do in law school. And Madison has just grown, I mean, literally leaps and bounds every 2 weeks. She's got freak athleticism, always has a smile on her face. She literally, I've not seen her have a bad day, and I want somebody to tell me if they've seen her have a bad day, because I haven't seen it. You probably even haven't seen it, have you? See? So she just has that. She's always smiling. She wants to be coached, and just, her freak athleticism has all really come together for us this year. We threw her in the 4 spot when Morgan was out. She crushed it, led us in rebounding for a while. So she's amazing, talented player, been one of our best defenders on tough matchups. So, we're going to miss Mads as well. And obviously this one here is highly talented. Again, her balance, I think she's 4th in assist right now or something all time. And she's one of the best to play at Regis, and she's not done. So, whoop, whoop. Just pumped to have her, and just even more proud, I think, of Erin and her leadership off the court and her wanting to give to her teammates, loading waters on the buses.
I'm going to cry.
I have a lot more to share about her, but I'll stop there.
Well, as Coach alluded to, Erin, what do you think Senior Day is going to be like for you? You'll have a unique one in the sense that, most seniors, when they have their Senior Day, it's the waterworks, and so this is going to be the last time I play on my court. That's not the case for you. We're going to have you back as a graduate student next year.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would want to be like, I'm happy this day is here, which I am. It's like I get to celebrate all my accomplishments that I have thus far. And I get to walk out with 2 of my best friends that I made this year. And I guess that's what I'm most looking forward to, just celebrating the moments that I was just blessed to have throughout these 4 years, and celebrating it with, my 2 best friends that I made.
You're both going to hate this last question because it goes against the staying in the moment. But before we get to our rapid fire, with the RMAC tournament bracket going to be known Saturday night finally, what do you think this team is capable of doing in the month of March?
I'll go. We were talking about it before practice. So, like we were talking about, we want to focus on, because you have to reel it back in every time, because we can go here, maybe host a tournament this time, or, So while we are focusing one game at a time, we can go as far as we want to go. The only way that we'll lose or get beaten is ourselves. So if we just get out of the way of ourselves, just continue to play together, play for each other, we can take it all the way, and that's our goal.
I'm going to say the sky's the limit for this group, and I wouldn't want to be coaching anybody else.
Sounds great. And to provide some more context for fans, the regional rankings came out today. We came in at number 3. But
I could scream.
Time for the rapid fire round. Just coming off the heels of celebrating Division II Day last week as nationwide from Division IIs. To you, what have been some of the benefits and best attributes of playing at the Division II level, of coaching at the Division II level? And Coach, you did both. So.
Oh, you did it all.
So can you?
I just really appreciate and just love how we're able to build the relationships we have with both our coaches and teachers. Like on the court, we're able to build a close relationship with our coaches, and then even in the classroom, having a smaller class size, we're able to get the help we need from our teachers, or even build a relationship with them before in office hours and whatnot. And then the balance between school and basketball, playing at a high level, and then also being able to get a great education. So that's what I like about the D2 level.
For you, Coach, since you've seen both sides of it as a player and as a coach?
I think the opportunity that our girls get to have, the balance of it. I know you hear that word a lot, but I really think they're playing at an extremely high level. Obviously, we're playing almost 3 D1s a year. We play an all-regional schedule. So they've played as tough at as high a level in Division II as anybody can play. And I think for them to have that competitive environment, but have the small class sizes, and I think the balance to do other things. I mean, they hang out together, and while they're super focused on basketball, they do have an opportunity to not just have that be their sole focus. Coaching at the Division I level, there were certain times when head coaches I worked for said that people couldn't major in certain things, because it messed with their practice times. Well, that's never going to happen here. We have 3 or 4 people missing class, mads for clinicals 2 or 3 days a week sometimes. And so to show that you can do all of it, that you can get a great education, that you can play at the highest level, you can also have balance, and a lot of them are going to have resumes and jobs before they or have resumes and jobs before they leave here. So I don't think they say that in Division I. I think a lot of times you leave Division I as players, you've been catered to so much that you're just kind of thrown out into the world, and then you're like, oh, nobody's going to check on me if I'm going to class or feed me. So I think that the balance of it, I think, sets Division II players, including myself, up for more success.
We're reaching that magical time of the school year of the basketball calendar. What is your favorite March Madness moment from the men or women's tournament?
Okay, I'll go. Thus far, I guess it would be this championship last year, because that was just a big game for women's side. It was just a big game, the hype around it. I guess not just a championship, but just each game going forward, just because of the attention that women's basketball was getting, and not just me watching it, but I'm able to watch it with people who usually don't watch women's basketball. So I guess just the whole March Madness, the whole March, watching all the games, whether it was in class, no offense, or
Wait, what? In class?
yeah, or out of class, we get a group together and we watch just games, as a team, or even friends outside of the team. So just all of it last year, really.
What about for you, Coach? Anything that stands out?
I just think that the growth of the sport, I have heard there's so many people that are just getting nixed on saying that there's not women's basketball is not popular enough to put on the major stations, and it's just getting cut down. And just to watch those what people just assumed people weren't going to watch because women's sports weren't given a chance, particularly women's basketball, to see the rise of it and to see record attendance on some of these things, to see more female coaches. Just a lot of it, I think, has been to see Tara become the winningest coach. It's an exciting time for our sport, and I'm all for it.
Pat Summitt or Gino fan? Like, at least
Pat. Well, Gino's great too, but Pat's Pat.
And see, that was me. High school, college was just what an absolutely dynasty that Gino had built at UConn.
Yep.
So that was my introduction to women's basketball. Just wow, what are they doing in UConn?
He's great too.
Looking at this year, I know hopefully we have some more future memories to build. But if you had to look back at the 2023-2024 regular season, is there a moment that stands out? Maybe 1,000 career points or anything that stands out as your favorite moment from this regular season?
As much as that moment was great, there's two other. It's a tie between Morgan's game winner versus CCU. That was huge. I did make the pass, but Morgan's game winner to win us that game. And then also beating Black Hills on their home court. That was also big for us, like as a team. So those are tied for my favorite.
Two great moments. What about for you, Coach?
Well, she took the basketball ones. I'm going to say just the moments off the court. Again, we have essentially a group that has almost played together for definitely for 2, but 3 years. And just to see how much closer we've gotten. I mean, they heckle me. It's really unbelievable how much they heckle me and how much I take and secretly love it. So, I think that, back of the bus, the speaker, karaoke, them pranking me a fair amount. There's been a fair amount of pranks recently. So, I'm actually going to miss it. And we've just I just know with, the ones that are graduating for sure that, we just kind of look at each other like, okay, we just want more time together. So, I'd say that's mine.
If you could go back in time and tell your freshman self one piece of advice, what would it be?
I'm going first. Okay.
Well, you were a freshman this earliest.
I guess I would say the gym is like honestly your second home. And then the second piece, these are top two. So gym is going to be second home. And then 2 is be open early to like new relationships, whether that's with like people on the team outside of school or even like small things like the refs. I see a lot of the refs over and over again. Just that these relationships is going to last a long time. And then I'm going to be in the gym more than I am at home for a good reason, of course. That's what I would tell myself. So gym is your second home and be open to new relationships.
She sounds like a senior point guard, Coach. Be in the gym and start making your way in, making some headway with the RMAC officials, knowing them by name.
They're networking. I don't know. Yeah, they're impressive. I would say from the advice I would give myself as a freshman would have been to take more advantage of the upperclassmen, seeking advice from them, getting in the gym with them, or just leaning on them more or kind of gaining their wisdom, because I had some pretty amazing upperclassmen as a freshman, and I think I was just too shy to do it. So I would go back and say, hey, pick their brain, have them help you get better. But a lot of freshmen have a hard time doing that.
Not evident by the snowfall we had earlier this week, but we are only just a few short months away from summer. What is one activity, vacation, something this summer that you're looking forward to?
Oh, this summer, perfect. So after graduation, and I'm celebrating our basketball season, of course. My class, Madison and Olivia, we're planning a cruise to go on a cruise when we graduate this summer. So I'm looking forward to that.
Where are you guys heading?
We don't know yet, but
just going.
Cruise,
we're getting
yes.
on a boat and going
We're getting
somewhere.
on a boat and we're leaving. Yes.
I hope you come back.
Hopefully there's more to the itinerary so we know where she went.
There's not just a departure, there's an arrival.
You know the people who I'm with, so.
All right, then they're probably going to run there. I had not thought that far. My goal is to take an international trip every year. So last year I went with the team to Italy, so we got to join that together.
Yes.
So that would be the goal, but I haven't set anything up yet. But I do have a weekend to Palm Springs set up. So that's exciting.
Already tops my summer plans, Coach. I'd go to Palm Springs too.
It.
Great. And then last one for you guys. Finish this sentence for me. The Regis University women's basketball program is?
I'm going to say battle. That's our team slogan.
What does battle stand for? We're not privy to that information.
Of course you are. It's the B is believe, A is achieve, T is trust, and L is love. That's what we say.
What about for you, Coach? Regis women's basketball is
Smart, tough, unselfish.
fantastic answers.
All the good words in the dictionary.
Absolutely. Well, ladies, want to thank you for joining us this month and on the Ranger Roundup, and we wish you the best this weekend and during the RMAC tournament and what we hope is a long march of basketball. And again, also a big thank you to Regis ITS and Walker's Pub for their help in putting on this program each and every month. When we come back in March, we'll be talking with men's and women's golf as they gear up for their respective RMAC tournaments. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ranger up.
And goodbye.